This week on Traverse Talks, Jim Horn connects the dots between national economic warning signs and what they could mean right here in Traverse City. From inflation jitters and revised job losses to a potential U.S.-Canada bridge showdown, the bigger picture is shifting fast. And back home, city finances, school safety, and a major new film festival are all shaping the conversation in Grand Traverse County.
Hey folks, this is Jim Horn, and this is your week's end news reporting for Traverse Talks, February 13th, 2026. First, a few of the national stories that obviously could affect Grand Traverse County and Traverse City. According to reporting by the Wall Street Journal, Wall Street is bracing for a potentially hotter than expected inflation report for January, even though forecasts call for a modest 0.3 monthly increase. January has a recent track record of surprise price hikes, driven in part by routine New Year price hikes and what economists call residual seasonality, where seasonal adjustments don't fully smooth out reoccurring patterns. Some analysts warn that President Trump's tariffs could also be pushing prices higher, especially for imported goods like electronics and appliances, though that effect may be only temporary. Recent data from Adobe shows broad-based online price increases in January, adding to concerns that retailers used post-holiday adjustments to pass along higher costs. Still, many economists argue this doesn't signal runaway inflation, noting that price-sensitive consumers are forcing companies to cut prices and compete harder, limiting how much inflation can really accelerate in 2026. And according to Forbes, January's reported gain of 130,000 jobs looks positive at first glance, but the broader picture shows that 2025 actually lost a net 403,000 jobs after revisions. And I might add that 130,000 jobs for January was mostly healthcare workers. The unemployment rate edged down slightly to 4.3%, with about 7.4 million people unemployed, a figure that was largely unchanged from the prior month. However, the annual comparison is less encouraging, as last January's unemployment rate was lower, and non-seasonally adjusted numbers show a recent uptick. The article also notes that official unemployment figures don't capture people working part-time for economic reasons or those marginally attached to the workforce. In short, while the headline number suggests momentum, Forbes reports that deeper revisions and broader labor measures reveal a more fragile job market than it first appears. Well, here's a story. Let's hope this doesn't come to pass. President Trump is threatening to block the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge between Detroit and Windsor, escalating tensions with Canada amid an ongoing trade war, according to reporting by the New York Times. Trump says the bridge will not open until the U.S. is fully compensated and Canada treats the United States with what he calls fairness and respect, despite the bridge being paid for by Canada and jointly operated with Michigan. Canadian businesses sharply criticized the threat, warning that blocking a major border crossing would be economically self-defeating, while Michigan officials downplayed the risk and said the bridge will open regardless. Legal experts note the president could attempt to delay the opening by declaring an emergency and temporarily closing the port of entry, though it's unclear whether he would follow through given past walkbacks on similar threats. But The dispute underscores a broader deterioration in U.S. and Canada relations marked by tariffs, political rhetoric, and growing economic fallout on both sides of the border. You know what I'd recommend to Canada? Why don't we name this the Donald J. Trump Bridge? And I'm sure that would get us off the hook as far as the opening. Anyway, locally, Traverse City leaders are weighing whether to temporarily waive a policy that caps the city's general operating fund balance at 15 to 20% of annual operating costs after the balance grew to about $8.79 million, or roughly 33.5% of expenditures. City Treasurer and Finance Director Heidi Shep described the fund balance as the city's savings account, important for cash flow, emergencies, and economic volatility, especially at the start of the fiscal year before tax revenues arrive. City Manager Benjamin Marentet said rising wages and pension costs, a pension plan funded below the state's 60% requirement, roughly $7 million in near-term capital needs, and additional building and fire station upgrades are creating this financial pressure. To address this, Marentet proposed waiving the cap and forming a subcommittee to recommend how to use the excess funds, alongside developing the city's first 3-year spending plan. While no vote was taken at the study session, commissioners broadly supported the approach as a prudent step given the uncertainty ahead. I had a school break-in and arrest up in the Peninsula community. A 41-year-old man was arrested after breaking into Old Mission Peninsula School with a hammer, triggering a lockdown and sending students home early. Law enforcement from multiple agencies responded, and the suspect was taken into custody without further incident. Oh, this is good news. Fresh Coast Film Festival comes to town. Film lovers have something to look forward to. The inaugural Traverse City Fresh Coast Film Festival is set for April 30th to May 3rd, featuring over 50 films at 7 venues. Weekend passes are sold out, but day and individual tickets remain available. It's really great to see the movies come back to TC. Anyway, folks, I'm Jim Horn. This is Traverse Talks, and have yourself one great weekend.